Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're breaking down a seriously fascinating journey. We're talking about a guy who went from hitting absolute rock bottom to driving off the dealership lot in his absolute dream car, a Mazda RX-8. But what I found really captivating in this source material is that this isn't really a story about a car at all. It's about the adoption of 10 highly specific, life-changing habits. If you've ever wondered how successful people manage to completely turn their lives around, you are in the exact right place. Let's explore the exact blueprint for going from a victim mindset to ultimate achievement. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to move rapidly through the 6 thematic phases of this journey. We'll start with taking total responsibility, move to defining your dream, programming your mind, paying the price, mentorship and energy, and finally, committing to constant improvement. So I want to pose this question right to you. Why are some people more successful than others? We often look at high achievers and kind of just assume they got lucky, right? Like they had some random overnight breakthrough. But the reality we're unpacking today is completely different. You don't decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Success is literally nothing more than the sum of small, calculated efforts repeated day in and day out. It's an accumulation, not an accident. To really illustrate this, let's look at this stark mindset contrast. Our speaker originally spent his 20s totally struggling. He was broke, always pointing fingers at the government, complaining about the bad economy, high taxes, cheap clients, the whole shebang. He was completely stuck in the lame category because, well, as he learned, lame people blame people. Successful people, they take 100% responsibility for their own lives, period. The second you blame outside circumstances, you are literally giving away your power to change them. Now, check out this shocking number. 13. Before figuring any of this out, the speaker actually started and completely failed at 13 separate businesses. 13! Imagine the sheer frustration and the heavy toll that takes on your confidence. He was completely lost until his first mentor, a guy named Alan, stepped in and asked him a super simple question. What's not working? And when he replied that, everything was failing because of all these outside forces, his mentor gave him the massive wake-up call that sparked this entire journey. And that brings us right to phase 1, taking total responsibility. So his mentor sat him down and made him admit a really hard truth. He alone chose to start those 13 businesses. He chose the partners. He chose exactly how he spent his time. Every single decision, whether he knew the outcome or not, was his choice. So the crucial point here is you absolutely must take 100% responsibility. That is habit number 1. The buck stops with you. If it's meant to be, it's up to you. You are faced with a fundamental choice in life. You can either make money or you can make excuses, but you absolutely cannot do both. Taking complete responsibility is the foundation upon which all the other habits are built. Without it, the rest of this framework just crumbles. Once you finally own your reality, you can jump into phase 2, defining your dream. This phase covers habits 2 and 3, deciding exactly what you want and actually believing it's possible for you. See, most people don't get what they want because they just have these vague wishes, not clearly defined dreams. For our guy, he needed a tangible, highly visual goal to really pull him forward. At the time, he was driving this standard little Mazda 3 hatchback. So what was the ultimate dream? Actually, it wasn't a $10 million mansion or a private jet. It was a red Mazda RX-8 with a rotary engine. It was a believable, concrete upgrade from what he currently had. Having this incredibly specific target gave him something to visualize, to feel, and to completely focus his daily drive on. Which leads directly into habit 3, captured perfectly in this famous Napoleon Hill quote. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe you can achieve. You have to believe it's actually possible for you. Because the goal was an RX-8 and not, say, a Ferrari, his mind could actually conceive it. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that you must believe you deserve the success before the result actually shows up. The belief creates the reality, not the other way around. Now we transition right into phase 3, programming your mind. This covers habits 4 and 5, where the mental work actually comes before the physical work. You don't just set a goal and forget about it. You have to mentally rehearse it through intense visualization. The daily conditioning started by cutting a picture of that exact RX-8 out of a magazine. Second, he slapped it right onto his vision board. Third, he engaged all his senses. Every single day, he'd close his eyes and visualize his hands on the stick shift, feeling the leather seats, literally imagining that new car smell. And finally, habit number 5, acting as if. When he was out hanging with friends and an RX-8 drove by, he'd point and say, "Hey, that's my car." His friends called him crazy, reminded him he drove a little hatchback, but he wasn't lying to himself. He was conditioning his mind. He was acting as if the result was already a done deal. But, dreams and mental rehearsals aren't quite enough on their own. That brings us to phase 4, paying the price. Let's move to and see how this builds. Your beliefs have to be backed by a relentless willingness to grind, to sacrifice, and to face rejection head-on. Habit 6 is being willing to literally pay the price. Because his goal was a physical car, he could turn his dream into straight-up math. He calculated the exact down payment needed, he calculated the monthly payment. Then he determined precisely how much extra income he had to generate to make it happen. So while his friends were out partying and wasting time at pubs, he was working long hours, day in, day out. He committed to the hours because he knew exactly what he was trading his time for. It makes you ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice for your success? And running right alongside paying the price is habit 7. Feel the fear and do it anyway. There is this massive misconception out there that successful people are just completely fearless. No way, that is simply not true. When the speaker had to pick up the phone to make cold calls to business owners, he was terrified. He hated rejection. But the difference is, successful people don't let that fear dictate their actions. They acknowledge the fear, they feel the doubt, and they just do the work anyway. Moving right along to phase 5, mentorship and energy. To keep your momentum going through the really tough times, you need an external support system, and you need internal fuel. Habit 8 is seeking mentorship. As the saying goes, your ego is not your amigo. If you try to do everything your own way, your pride will destroy you. We don't have all the answers. Finding a mentor gives you both the skill set and the mindset you're lacking. But hey, even with a mentor, you will still fail sometimes, and that is exactly where this brilliant Winston Churchill quote comes in. Success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Which ties perfectly into habit 9, having immense enthusiasm and energy. Low income is so often associated with low energy, a lack of stamina, just being unproductive. But high income and high achievement, they require high energy, immense passion, and serious enthusiasm. Listen, even if you aren't the best or most skilled person in the room right now, if you attack your goals with massive vitality and enthusiasm, you will outwork and outlast the competition, for sure. Energy is literally the ultimate equalizer. Which brings us to our final phase, committing to constant improvement. This phase explores the really fascinating psychology of what actually happens when you cross the finish line and achieve that massive goal. When the speaker finally went to the dealership, rapidly signed all that paperwork, and drove that red RX-8 off the lot, he expected to feel this wild, crazy excitement. But the overwhelming feeling he actually experienced was just peace. It felt like déjà vu. He was incredibly calm. Why? Because he had mentally rehearsed that exact moment, feeling that steering wheel and smelling that leather thousands of times. His mind had already accepted it as reality long ago. When it finally happened physically, it was just the real world catching up to his mind. And the best part? Once he achieved it, he didn't stop. He immediately set his sights on the next goal, committing to never-ending improvement. And this brilliantly illustrates the complete framework. Let's do a rapid recap of these 10 habits. Take 100% responsibility, decide exactly what you want, believe it's possible, visualize it daily, act as if it's already yours, pay the price in hard work, act despite your fears, seek out mentorship, maintain that high enthusiasm, and commit to constant improvement. Think about it. If you want to get fit, you study fitness. If you want to cook, you study recipes. If you want to be successful, you have to treat success as a serious subject of study. Incorporate these habits, and you master the subject. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Think about the habits we just went through. What is your personal RX-8? What is that believable but highly motivating dream that you need to define right now? And honestly, more importantly, what is the one single habit from this entire framework that you are going to commit to implementing today? Don't try to change everything all at once. That never works. Just pick one, master it, and start changing your future right now.